What up, meal preppers? It's Bobby, and today we are doing New Year's resolution meal prep. And it's gonna be so easy and so healthy that ain't no way you're gonna break it, because this is my clean eating guide to 2017. We are making oven roasted Greek style chicken loaded with garlic and lemon, roasted spaghetti squash pulled to look like real spaghetti, and then tossed with lots of vegetables and herbs, and my immune system boosting tea. So if you guys love my meal prep videos, join the community by subscribing to my channel below. I have new videos every Friday hooking up all my meal prepsters around the world. Blue 42, say it, hut! If you guys haven't used a spaghetti squash, get on it. This stuff is so cool because once we roast it, we pull it just like spaghetti. So go ahead and grab a rolling pin and a knife and just tap the knife right in the center a little bit. Then grab the rolling pin and just tap the knife down through. And then grab a spoon and we're gonna scoop all the seeds out of here. And then one more time. Go ahead and move these guys to a sheet tray. And right now would be a great time to preheat your oven to 400 degrees. I'm gonna season the inside of the squash with a good shot of olive oil, a generous pinch of salt, and a couple cracks of black pepper. All right, let's toss this guy in the oven for just over 1 hour until it's golden brown and caramelized on the top. All right, let's grab the star of this dish. Check it out here, guys. I have 5 bone-in, skin-on chicken breast. You always want to buy these guys with the skin on and the bone on because they have way more flavor. So we're doing a Greek style chicken, so I'm gonna make a Greek style marinade or dressing to douse all over this chicken before we chuck it in the oven. So let's add a few tablespoons of olive oil to a bowl, a teaspoon each of dried thyme and oregano. Now this is Greek style chicken, so you know we're gonna use a big old mess of garlic, but the way I like to break it down is with my favorite kitchen tool ever, the microplane zester. I'm just gonna grate it here. It's gonna come through as a fine pulp on the other side, and that way it just kind of melts into our marinade. And while we're in the zesting mood, let's zest and juice 2 lemons. We want a big lemony punch for this Greek style chicken. Just go ahead and give that guy a whisk up. Before we douse the chicken with the marinade, we have to give it a nice big old pinch of salt, and then a few cracks of pepper. Go ahead and flip the chicken over, and then do some more salt and pepper. Now let's reach for our marinade and just pour it all over the chicken breasts. Just make sure the bottom of the chicken gets the marinade on it also. And anytime you buy chicken or steak or pork on the bone, it's gonna be that much more juicy and that much more flavorful. Now, as soon as the marinade goes on, I'm gonna lower the temperature of the oven to 375 degrees. It's gonna share the space with the spaghetti squash, and it's gonna roast for about 45 minutes. Later on, we're gonna toss that spaghetti squash with a bunch of vegetables. So to get that party started, I have 8 ounces of cherry tomatoes, really ripe ones, in front of me. I'm gonna season those with about a tablespoon of olive oil, a tablespoon of balsamic vinegar, a half a teaspoon of salt, and a couple cracks of pepper. Let's mix this guy up. Then we're gonna roast it in the oven for about 20 minutes, just until they burst and get really jammy and they start to shrink. The flavor intensifies, and the oven's a little full right now, so we're gonna use my secret oven down here. Don't tell anyone, it's only for VIPs. Now I have a pan preheating over medium heat. I'm gonna add about 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and then go in with the mother load of veggies here. I have fennel, red peppers, and red onion. Now, if you guys aren't familiar with fennel, you need to try this. It kind of tastes like celery and black licorice at sexy times, and it's really good and crispy. And then grab some salt and pinch in about 1 teaspoon, and some black pepper. Just give this guy a mix up, and we're gonna cook it for about 7 minutes until all the veggies start to soften up. After 7 minutes, take a peek inside the pot. You can see that everything has softened up a little bit there. So now I'm gonna add 3 cloves of garlic that I finely minced, because if you add it in the beginning, it could burn. And I'm also gonna reach for one of those red chili peppers, finely slice it and toss it in. While that finishes cooking, I think it's time to pull the squash out of the oven. And perfect, this is what you wanna see, guys. It's nice and caramelized on the top. Everything is softened up a little bit. And if you wanna make sure it's done, just grab a knife and poke it. And if the knife goes in and out with relative ease, you know it's done. If it still feels kind of tough, put it back in the oven for 15 minutes. Now, once the squash is cooled down where you can grab it, reach for a fork and start shredding it into spaghetti strands. And I can see the steam billowing out of this guy like a hot locomotive. So you definitely want to cool it down, which reminds me of when I was on Guy's Grocery Games 2 years ago, and it was the family edition, and we made this exact same dish in the first round, but we didn't have obviously 45 minutes or an hour to roast it in the oven. So I had my wife put it in the microwave for about 10 or 15 minutes, and it came out piping. I mean, like scalding hot. And I gave the job to my brother, AKA my sous chef, and he had to do this when it was crazy hot. The clock was ticking down, and he was complaining that his hands were burning off. But you know what? We won that round. We won the show. We won 18 grand. So I said, bro, it was worth the burns. Let's add my mound of spaghetti to the veggies here. I turn the heat off of the pan. And just like I would with pasta, I always finish it in the pan with the sauce or the ragu. Now I think the roasted tomatoes in my secret oven down here are ready. Check these out. These are roasty and toasty, guys. Look at that. Nice and caramelized on the top. They've shrunken down. They've gotten sweet and jammy. And then go ahead and dump all these tomatoes into the pot. And then give it a nice mix up. Add a big pinch of parsley. And give it one last mix up. And then it's my favorite part, checking for seasoning, AKA quality control. Dude, this is a total culinary fake out because I think I'm eating angel hair pasta, but this is so much healthier. But it does need a pinch of salt and lemon juice because the inside of the squash wasn't seasoned. It's been 45 minutes and check this chicken out. Golden brown and delish. The white meat is perfectly cooked. That marinade has really absorbed into the chicken. Now, if you were gonna eat this all right now, you have to let it cool down for about 10 minutes because the juices inside the chicken are boiling. And if you cut into them, all the juices are gonna run out and it's gonna be dry as can be. The last thing we have to do is make my immune system boosting tea. For the tea, go ahead and add 2 cups of water to a pot. Then grab a lemon and use a veggie peeler to take the outside skin off. The yellow is where all the aromatics and the essential oils are, and the white or the pith is super bitter, so you don't want that. And if you guys follow me on the Flav City Snapchat or Instagram, you see I've been making this tea literally all winter long. It's so good for you. It really keeps your immune system high. If you get sick, you can beat the bug immediately with this stuff. You guys have been making it and snapping me pictures left and right. So if you make this or any other recipe, put it on social media and tag me. I love seeing that. And then add it to the pot. Now this guy right here is fresh turmeric root. It's an anti-inflammatory and an anti-carcinogen. You want to use the fresh stuff. They have it at a lot of markets. In a pinch, you could use turmeric powder, but fresh is where it's at. Just take a knife and finely slice about 2 to 3 inches worth. A little piece of fresh ginger root is really good for digestion and it's super good for your stomach. Just slice about a 3-inch piece also. And then go in with a wee pinch of cayenne pepper. This stuff will really open up the old sinuses, plus it's a good anti-cold or flu agent. And then finally, 1 or 2 cracks of black pepper is super important because it activates the turmeric and the healing power in there. Now all we're gonna do is bring this to a bare simmer. After 7 minutes, let's kill the heat on the pot and look at that color in there. That is just beauty yellow. Now let's add the juice of half a lemon directly into the pot. Now I'm gonna let it cool down for about 5 minutes because I have raw honey. And if you put boiling liquid on raw honey, it kills the enzymes and the natural vitamins in there. So go ahead and strain your tea. The turmeric and the lemon are making that an awesome shade of yellow. Now I'm gonna grab some Bulgarian honey that my mother-in-law sends us. First of all, if something has this amazing color, it's either gonna be Mountain Dew or it's gonna be super healthy for you. Elixir of the gods coursing through my veins. This is so tasty, but be warned, after a few sips, you will start to get really hot and maybe sweat. It's honestly what I call a hug in a mug. You're gonna love it, I know it. All right, guys, I have my glass meal prep containers. You know I love these. If you guys want the link, it's below in the description box. These guys are the best. All right, before we build our meal prep containers, I think I'm gonna chop the chicken in half because that is a big boy right there. Just like that. And oh, look inside this chicken, you guys. So juicy, so moist, golden brown skin. And look at that juice just coming out of there. Eat me, Barbie. Tuck that down into the container, top it with the other half. And then I must have had a little bit of a brain fart earlier because I forgot to add a little bit of toasted and chopped walnuts to my spaghetti squash. And I'm a certified crunchaholic, so I don't know how I forgot this. So go ahead and shake it in. 1 or 2 tablespoons. That'll add some nice crunch. And then grab a nice serving here, bring it over to your container, and nestle it alongside the chicken. Yum. And all 5 containers are done for the week and looking mighty fine and healthy, but I'm pretty sure I owe it to myself to sneak a little piece because this chicken is screaming my name. You guys, that chicken is so moist and juicy and lemony and garlicky, but I feel like it's missing one thing. That's right. All you gotta do is swirl, sip, repeat. You guys, this is the perfect clean eating guide for 2017, and it will help you stick to your New Year's resolutions perfectly. The recipe is below in the description box. Also, make sure you subscribe to my channel for new videos every Friday morning for all my meal preppers out there. If you want to see 2 more super healthy, delicious meals, check out the videos below me. But I'll see you next week. Until then, # keep on cooking, keep it healthy.